Professor Abigail Baker. Good morning. Oh, I should say former professor. So today's the day. Big day in court. Just wanted to let you know I'm not going to be there. Although I'd love to see you. Hope you learned your lesson. Should have accepted the snack I brought for you. Should have accepted my flowers. Let me take you out. You would have enjoyed it. You should never have given me a 0 on that test. You messed up my GPA. And in exchange, I messed up your life. That's how I get even. Have a nice day.
One voicemail destroyed an entire case. One message exposed the truth, and one absent student just obliterated every accusation he made. In front of a courtroom, a university professor laid bare the smear campaign against her. This is what happens when fake accusations are weaponized to ruin careers. Today, we break down the chilling trial of a professor falsely accused by her own student, and how it all came crashing down. Subscribe now for raw courtroom truth. No spin, no fluff. It started like any college mentorship. Professor Abigail Murphy, a 22-year teaching veteran at Mango Park Community College, was simply doing her job, supporting students during office hours. One student, James Donovan, began showing up often. She helped him with coursework, exams, and building confidence in math. But what began as educational guidance quickly spiraled into discomfort. Donovan, according to Murphy, crossed professional boundaries. He called her beautiful, asked her what she did for fun, even suggested going out on a date. Her clear rejection. I'm your professor, you're my student, I don't even want the appearance of anything inappropriate. And that's when things changed. James Donovan didn't show up in court, but his accusations were loud and clear. According to Professor Murphy,
but he claimed that I had given him answers ahead of time, that I told him.
Who did he report that
He
information
reported
to?
that to the university. So
Okay.
I have been put on, I've been put on leave without pay.
Without?
Speaking of the dean, I have had no contact with the dean, no contact with the administration, no contact with my peers. I used to have a great reputation.
Well, that sounds a bit harsh for a he say, she say situation. Mr. Donovan says that you provided these answers to this test.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just curious, how were you, like I say, he's not here, how does he say that you did this?
I mean, he says that I gave him specific answers to specific questions.
What, did he say that you sent him a text, that you gave him a hard copy?
No, he says that I gave him that during my office hours.
he told the university that their relationship was more than academic. He hinted at romantic involvement, suggesting she was giving him favors in more ways than just the answers to the questions. And despite providing no text, no email, and no physical evidence,
So
Okay.
I have been put on, I've been put on leave without pay.
Without?
Speaking of the dean, I have had no contact with the dean, no contact with the administration, no contact with my peers.
all of it based on unverified claims. The story doesn't end with whispers. It escalates with lies and receipts. After Donovan missed a key exam, he claimed he'd been in a car accident, but Murphy noticed the timeline didn't add up.
I administered that at 4 p.m. that day. So this accident happened after my exam.
Even after 2 weeks of silence, she was empathetic, but when she began pressing for details, asking for the police officer's name, location of the accident, his story fell apart.
He had no reason not to show up, and he certainly had no reason to just take 2 weeks to get back to me.
This wasn't the first time she'd seen creative excuses. As she told the court,
I don't do situations. That's my policy. And they look at me funny, and I explain. I say, listen, I know all of you all have about 5 or 6 grandmothers. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but you kill each one of them off every single semester. Every single semester, another grandmother dies, but I'm not an idiot. So I tell them I need proof.
and there was none. No accident report, no obituary, nothing. Then came the final straw, his voicemail the morning of the trial, a recording dripping with resentment and revenge.
You should never have given me a 0 on that test. You messed up my GPA. And in exchange, I messed up your life.
This wasn't a scorned student. This was a calculated attempt to destroy a career. The courtroom drama reached a boiling point when the professor played the bombshell evidence, a voice message that left no doubt about the student's ulterior motives. In her own words, Professor Murphy recounted the message.
Professor Abigail Baker, good morning. Oh, I should say former professor. So today's the day, big day in court. Just wanted to let you know I'm not going to be there. Although I'd love to see you. Hope you learned your lesson. Should have accepted the snack I brought for you. Should have accepted my flowers. Let me take you out. You would have enjoyed it. You should never have given me a 0 on that test. You messed up my GPA. And in exchange, I messed up your life. That's how I get even. Have a nice day.
This wasn't just a voice message, it was a deafening declaration of revenge. The professor's calm explanation of the timeline, the missed exam, and the suspicious accident narrative was ruthlessly contradicted by this recording. The evidence showed, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the student's claims were nothing more than calculated lies meant to tarnish her long-established reputation, while the professor had methodically explained every detail, from the office hours to the bizarre demands. This message was the decisive blow. With every word, it undercut Donovan's narrative and revealed his true agenda, to manipulate and coerce, all while hiding behind an accusation that had no factual grounding. Every direct quote from that message served as a bullet, shattering the flimsy case built on hearsay and questionable timings. It became clear that the professor was not only a dedicated educator, but also a victim of an orchestrated vendetta, a plan so poorly conceived that it collapsed under the weight of its own contradictions. The final moments in court delivered the ultimate takedown of the student's credibility. Even as the judge prepared to dismiss the case, Professor Murphy's testimony laid bare the absurdity of the situation. She detailed verbatim the aftermath of his actions.
So I have been put on, I've been put on leave without pay.
Without.
Speaking of the dean, I have had no contact with the dean, no contact with the administration, no contact with my peers. I used to have a great reputation.
Her measured yet biting recount of events made it clear this wasn't about a simple academic misunderstanding. It was an orchestrated attempt to ruin a dedicated educator's career based on nothing more than rumor and a single spiteful voicemail. As the judge's gavel struck, further condemnations followed.
Whatever he brought into this courtroom, since he's not here, I'm going to dismiss it. It's going to be dismissed.
Adding insult to injury, the judge announced additional measures.
I'm going to issue you a restraining order.
Thank you.
Okay, from Mr. Donovan. All right. The fourth thing we're going to do is, because he's not here, I'm going to issue a bench warrant for his arrest.
Each word piled on, leaving no doubt that the truth had won. The professor's impassioned defense, intertwined with cold, hard evidence and the student's own derisive message, exposed the baseless accusations. The courtroom, once a stage for this drama, transformed into a platform where justice was finally restored. It was a resounding final beatdown, a unanimous verdict of truth prevailing over deceit and manipulation. In the aftermath of today's courtroom showdown, one thing is abundantly clear. This case is not just about one professor or one student. It's about the dangerous power of unchecked accusations. Professor Murphy's unwavering stance, bolstered by irrefutable evidence, has restored a tarnished reputation and left the accuser scrambling for excuses. This battle serves as a stark reminder that no one is above accountability, and no smear campaign can silence the truth. If you're as fired up as we are after witnessing this showdown, make sure to subscribe for more no-holds-barred breakdowns of the stories that really matter. Your voice is important, and justice should never be muted. Stay tuned, stay vigilant, and remember, when the truth comes out, you simply can't ignore it.